We saw this video yesterday. Our cameraman at NBC Sports Boston, who shot it pregame, sent it over, and we saw this and we're like, "What? Like this drill that he's doing? This is the top prospect in baseball, in Major League Baseball, and they're doing this drill. This feels ridiculous." And it was good to hear a former major leaguer and Lou Maloney, Nesson employee, say the same thing.
Oh yeah, he called it out.
It's good.
Yes, he called it out. And look, he's right. Now, I also think, and this all sort of happened. We were on the air yesterday. So after watching more of it, hearing more about it, I now believe more than ever they did it on purpose in front of the cameras because they're sending a message to the organization or the front office.
Who's they?
The coaches.
The coaches, Cora.
Yeah, the manager and the coaching staff. I believe that they did it on purpose so that it would be seen.
Oh,
I do.
Awesome.
So, because again, Mike.
This is what you're giving us, guys that don't know how to play the game.
Bingo. And so look, the coaching staff has been taking a lot of heat. Why aren't these guys ready? Yeah, Cora's responsible for the errors. Okay, well, so this is, and I always push back on this because I think, so what do you think? Cora's telling Rafaela to miss cutoff men? Do you think, or they just... He assumes that they get taught this in the minor leagues and they know where to go with the ball or how to field it when they're charging a ball. And then they get here and they don't know what the hell they're doing. And so to me, this speaks to some sort of organizational problem.
Awesome.
Like what message, what are they spending the time on down there? Are they just
Launch
hitting?
angle.
Well, right. So, but Mike, that is the answer. That's all they care about. Is all they're doing hitting? That's it? And getting guys, and for the pitching side, throw it as hard as you can and spin it as hard as you can. Is that the extent of the instruction? And if that sounds like I'm ripping on the coaches, I'm really ripping on the philosophy. Okay? Because I don't think there were coaches that are good and there were coaches that are bad. I don't think I've ever seen a coach say, yeah, don't worry about the cutoff, man. It's not a big deal. Just, work on your arm strength. I've never seen that. Never in a million years. That thing yesterday, that usually happens at 12 or 1 o'clock when nobody's in the ballpark and nobody sees it. And there were a million times where the manager would there was a guy who was going through a slump or whatever, and he'd say, okay, well, BP's at 4. Be here at 1:30 after lunch. We're going to have you on an hour on the field. We're going to work with just you, and we're going to throw you live BP, and we're going to work it out. And they would do similar things with defense. Guys were having problems throwing. It was always done early. And if you wanted to go cover it that early, you could, but most people didn't because they were going to take the time to go through their normal routine, and when I get to work is when I get to work. But they hit it, especially the pitchers in the bullpen. They would go there early and work out early in the day, and you'd never see it. Never. This is out in front of everybody, and the cameras got it and put it on the broadcast.
Blaring across the MLB network in the middle of the day yesterday as well.
They did it on purpose. They did it on purpose. This was an FU to the front office and management to say, what are we teaching them down there? Because when they get here, they don't have an effing clue. And by the way, if you watch Campbell, Meyer, and Anthony, where do they look like polished products? And I would say
at the plate.
In the batter's box. Now, Campbell has gone into a slump, but when we got here, immediately the first thing we said, his approach is good. He approaches it opposite field, right center. And you know what? Meyer's doing the same thing, and so is Anthony. That double he got last night down the left field line, ball was 6 inches off the plate, but he knows he can hit. He knows he can get to it. Like, as much as you say, well, that's a ball, why is he swinging at it? Because he can hit it, and he knows it. So, that's all good. It's there. You can see it. They've practiced it. The other stuff, nothing. Not enough attention, and I think the coaches are pissed about it.
You mean baseball?
Yeah, baseball.
Yeah, so they're right to be pissed, and the approach blows, and the organizational approach, they're right to be mad about it. Is this the best way to go about it? Because if you're the organization now, and if that was done on purpose, don't you look at Cora and say, you insubordinate snake, what are you doing?
Yes.
Making a show of this. We just paid you all that money last year.
Yes, but how else are you going to get it done?
Go talk to them.
Okay, good luck.
Well, do it at noon. Do it at noon. Well, no, but I mean, if you're just worried about the player,
It just speaks to
You
the
do it at
dysfunction of
noon.
the whole thing,
Yes.
though.
Yeah, my guess is that they've already gone past that. Like, hey, these guys aren't really ready. Well, let's teach them up here. I think it's not just a Red Sox problem. This part of it is a baseball problem. More and more organizations do it this way. They're in such a freaking rush to get these guys to the big leagues on these cheap contracts and pay them nothing and have a guy who can hit, because that's what really matters, that they're sacrificing the other stuff.
I don't know if that's it. They have so much time down there. They could easily be practiced. I think it's, and I'm going to blame the usual suspects. I think it's the analytically driven world that baseball is, what they emphasize.
Yeah, right.
They emphasize, and the Red Sox are a team that emphasizes zone efficiency or zone range over the actual fielding. We all know what they're teaching in the batter's box. It's why you strike out so much and have trouble with runners in scoring position. They don't know how to put their bat on the ball. And I think that's really what it's just, what do you emphasize? And I think they're, emphasizing individual sort of metrics and individual things that they now value at the expense of others.
Correct.
And that's what it is.
No, and I think that most of it is in the batter's box.
They have the time to take Roman Anthony through the thing they did yesterday. Your glove is supposed to be perpendicular to the ground.
Of course.
Like they could have done that in spring training anytime, but they just don't bother because they're worried about other stuff.
Yeah. So when I say they're rushing them, I don't mean it in the way you think I mean it. I'm not saying that they're not leaving them in the minors long enough. I'm saying that when they're in the minors, they're only teaching them one thing.
Yeah.
And, it might take a little longer to fully develop some of those other areas, and they're just blowing them off. So I think again, I think it's effectively the same thing, but they're losing the time doing the other stuff. However you want to draw that up. They're just not putting an emphasis on it anymore. They don't value it.
So aside from that scene, and you can weigh in on that, it's an interesting thought. Did Alex Cora put him out there intentionally to show up the organization and how they're instructing these kids in the minor leagues and the kind of and the readiness of the players he's been given? Is that Cora showing up the organization? How do you feel about that? 617-779-0985. What'd you see from Anthony in the game?
So overall, he played a pretty good game last night. Again, to me, the hitting ability is obvious. That double down the line, again, if you watch the replay, the catcher almost catches it on the line of the batter's box, or that's where he was set up. That ball was 6 inches off the plate. And he stays back on it, and there's a still photo that I saw today that I tweeted out of the swing, and it's like textbook. I mean, he's perfectly set up. His hands are in the right place. He didn't roll over. Like it is, he can hit. And he uses the whole field, which is great. It's what I was just telling you a minute ago. Defensively, he was pretty good last night. He made a good sliding catch. And the ball that stuck out to me, there was a single to right field that he kind of came in on, stopped, was very methodical, very slow. The ball bounced. He didn't try to make a great play, played it on a bounce and threw it in. So there was no hero ball there. After effing up the one the night before, he just said, I'm going to play this on a hop, catch it, and get the ball back to the infield. I'm not going to hurt us. And it's a small thing, and it's an obvious thing, but he did it better. I thought he moved better in this game than he did in spring training. When I saw him in spring training, I think I used the word lumbering to you. He looks a little leaner to me than he did in spring training. I don't know if he got off some of the weights or what. Carabas at that time had said that he thought Roman Anthony was really kind of bulky in spring training. He doesn't look as bulky to me now, so maybe he lost some of that. He ran better on that double. He wasn't as lumbering on that double. I don't think he's a great outfielder. He should be in left, not in right. But last night he played a solid game. Solid game. So it was a step in the right
It's
direction.
high praise from you, Anthony.
Well, every once in a
You
while.
feeling okay?
I was waiting for a butt.
Yep.
Yeah, that was...
It's a little warm in here.